Hello, everybody.
Welcome to my channel. I don't normally do this, but please hit like, share, maybe share it, and subscribe to my page if you will, um, or if you please. Um, let's get into this. I'm about to talk about something I've been hearing or I've heard on Sinetta TV. Shout out to Sinetta. Peace out, baby. Yes, sir. One love. I love your work. Keep it up, man. Man, you a dragon in this thing, man. You a dragon. Um, but my comment right now comes from um one of his recent casts, and he had an atheist on there, and he was a super producer, very intelligent guy, very knowledgeable guy. You know what I mean? Intelligence is your ability to ask questions. So he was very intelligent, just as so as Sinetta, very intelligent human being. Uh, then you have the comments, which he said. Well, first of all, ants. I've seen them personally. I've seen them repairable damage to their castles or ant hills. They've repaired damage. So let's get that out the way. If the damage is so unrepairable, if they're going to have to rebuild the whole thing, then they'll just rebuild. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're going to do, rebuild, right? So you was a little stretching on that one, bro. But on a more serious note, the God. I'm not religious myself, and I'm not into all of the spookies and all of that. No, no, no. But there are things that are very real in this dimension, this plane of existence. Um, and some of these things science can explain as well. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say I'm not arrogant as to say that I want to see some proof of the one God on high. I want to see some proof of that. I'm not that arrogant, and I'm not insane. So I'm not going to keep asking for something that I know will not happen. If I call God down, God will not show itself to me. When I think of God, I don't think of God as a he, she. I think of God as an it. Okay, okay. I don't have misconceptions of the one on high, but I do know the works of the one on high. The one on high, if you're looking for the one on high or thought that the one on high has actually done something tangible itself, then you're sadly mistaken. God uses other things or other beings to put its will into fruition. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to know and distinguish these things. That's why what the first thing is to be able to distinguish the ones who we were taught were God, the ones that we were created in their likenesses and images, and have to be able to really conceive these people as a people, living, tangible, breathing beings that created us, that were so divine compared that they told us that they were our gods, and that's what they taught us. So that's what we believed, even to the effect that they still have churches now that teach these things, you know what I mean, about these multiple gods, you know what I mean, that weren't gods, that knew they weren't gods. But the thing is here is that even though they knew they were not gods, or they knew that they were not God on high, they had more than a concept of God. They had an actual, seemingly an actual knowledge of God, because Enlil told Enki, we're not into this to play God. We don't want to play God. But yet and still he had to go back and put more essence into us so we could procreate and think for ourselves properly and all of that. Yeah. If you knew that part about our real history, then you would have no problem distinguishing God from the gods that you were taught about that you want to appear all of a sudden. Do you understand that you people want aliens to reappear? I call them terrestrials because we're the extra, for real. So you people telling me, but just for readily familiar communication purposes, you want aliens to appear and save you. Now do you see the mind of the people, the very same people who want reparations? They don't know who they are. Peace to Dane Calloway, man. And then when I spit this thing, talk this stuff, people, oh, you looking at Dane Calloway. No, I've been spitting this stuff before, and so I decided to check the man out. And I'm like, yo, dude, fly with his, dude, fresh with his. No, excuse me, women get fly, men fresh. Feel me? So he fresh with his, man. All these dudes I'm naming, they fresh with theirs, man, but they got it confused. Science and life are the same. So, for example, to me, there's no reason why somebody should be crippled and they can't move their leg when you could put a fiber optic, should be able to put a fiber optic wire in the muscle or whatever, you know what I mean? And just like do something like that. And then since the brain fires off of these, when you move and things fire in the brain, just long story short, you can have the fiber optic cable work in that way, you know what I mean? There's so many things in my mind that could go down and why things aren't the way they should be, but that's not the subject. My whole thing is that God and doesn't work the same way as you think those gods did. Those living, tangible, breathing beings that created us. The one true God on high doesn't work that way. No. So if you think you're going to see God, come down here. No, that ain't going to happen, bro. So that's insanity. That's where your insanity comes in. Thinking that you want proof of something that shows you proof actually every day. If you know where to look. So that's just about it. I had more to say, but I just decided to cut it much shorter, and I also commented that, like, is that the reason why a lot of this music sounds godless? And somebody commented, oh, so it has to sound like church music, or like it has no proof and God doesn't exist. I'm like, listen, I never said that. All I want to do is hear the real. When it comes to music, I want to hear the real. It don't matter if it's religious music. It don't matter if it's street music. It don't matter whatever. It could be Elgiffer's opera. I want to hear the real. So miss me with all that, all of that old other stuff, because I got something for you. The debate that the other guy had, I could tell by the way that the other guy, the gentleman, was speaking, that he's from the streets, but yet he still doesn't have the vernacular or the know-how to convey or promulgate this message that he wants to be made known or be heard across. He doesn't know how to get it across in a proper way, because I was like, this dude sound like he kind of ignorant, you know what I mean? But he probably knows his stuff. But from how I was hearing him, nah, he ain't had nothing for that atheist. Not like I got something for that atheist. I just sat there and had, okay, so here to finish this. How does a people that create us actually have more than a concept and a knowledge of God? Never taught us this, but thousands of years later, we still have churches and all of this stuff. But we still have a concept of a most high God. That's what he meant by it's implanted in us. You see, you got these morals or moral codes that are actually objective, because they come from tangible living beings. But the one true God, or God on high, those rules, those laws are unbreakable. They're undeniable truth. But yet and still. So I say that to say the two examples at one time. If you spit in the sky, fall in your eye. If you don't move or the wind don't push it. But does God care? No. You better move. So if you're doing something for yourself and you doing good, that's not God. Don't get it confused. You're doing something for yourself. God is that momentum and you keep pushing. Keep doing good, feeling good about yourself. The momentum is different. Well, God is a different aspect of what you are thinking about. So that what you're saying is knowledge. You know how they say cleanliness is next to godliness? Well, it don't. My lips don't even form the same for it to be next to it. But if I said knowledge is next to godliness, knowledge, godliness. So the more knowledge you get, the more closer to God you get. There's an actual for you not to say that yourself is not God is a blaspheme in itself, really, because no part of God is a piece or a fraction. It is a whole. For you to exist, for you to be a soul in that body, you had to have come from God. You are God. So you're already the Father and the Son, homie. Without religion. Without religion. Because I'm far from religion talking about people from outer space and all of that shit. God damn, baby. Pardon my language. But please understand. No, please comprehend that God is something different other than what you're saying. If I created a people and and those people said, and my people said, I'm gonna have sex with these people down here, and then they got back to me and I said, you did what? You created who for what? How come I didn't know about it? And now they having sex with who? Oh no. That's abomination. Do away with the human race. Close the banks, because at that time to think that you had a whole world of people, you're going crazy. Don't think the world, a whole world of people. Think a whole, just maybe a country, maybe a country full of people. You know what I mean? Maybe 3 or 4 villages full of people, maybe. Spread all throughout, but they nice, but they spread. But then if you close all the banks, if you let loose all of the banks and all of that stuff, you blast these caps here, blast a cap there, and let the water rush in from here and there, and you create these floods, this big huge flood in the world that they know, then they survive, or some survive, mankind doesn't totally perish, then I say, oh, I guess I guess God seen fit that they live. So I guess it would be pointless, and it would be against God if I were to keep this going, this genocide going. So rather than go against God, I'm going to go with God and deem it that they should live too. I'm not going to keep pushing off their extinction. I did like the worst. I put them through a crazy ass trial, and they survived for the most part. So let them live, and we'll do whatever we got to do to see that they survive. That's what happened. So God didn't, the one on high didn't flood no banks. Like, come on, man. Like, like when you're looking for all of these answers, but you're looking in the wrong places. And you ask, it's like asking, all right, you got the right questions, but you asking the Pope about you asking the Pope about the motor in your refrigerator. You going to the Pope and saying, hey Pope, The motor in my refrigerator such and such. It's a such and such type. It's a such and then poop. My child, don't you have a real question like that I can answer? You know. So the more knowledge you get, they say God knows all and all of that stuff. But the more knowledge you get, the closer to God you get, or the closer to, you know what I mean? So keep getting these knowledge, keep being able to explain these things, these phenomena, these, whether natural or unnatural, it doesn't matter. Like, just gain knowledge of it. If you can gain knowledge of it, you gain control of it, which means you gain godliness over it. Y'all better understand who y'all be playing. Y'all playing. Peace out. Y'all playing.